everybody. Welcome to yet another fantastic session of science, which we are, doing and here right now. This is Sanskriti Singh for you from Bliss Science, and this session is brought to you by Pampers, Procter & Gamble, iSmile Foundation, and Toying. What we're going to do is, we're trying to fight the lockdown in a very constructive manner, and we are trying to do some fun experiments for children. And I have seen in the past couple of my experience of doing online experiments is children love the chemistry experiments. So hello all of you there who are joining in now. Nikita, Reshu, Rajshekhar, everybody, good evening there. And I hope wherever you are in India, you're having a good time. So for the first experiment, which is making of a small candy we are making. Okay, so first thing about candies, they have sugar, and you should not consume too much. So you should have it just in the right proportion. It's a little tangy, and it's a little sour, and it's a little sweet. It's something like one of those magic pop rocks that you get the moment you put it in your mouth and it starts popping in your mouth. It's something like that. So we'll be doing that. For this, you will need a bowl and a spoon. I am using Tang because I'm not really fond of this jelly crystals, but you can use jelly crystals also. So that is one. I'll be using citric acid. Okay. And I'll be using some sugar. Yeah, so somebody said, I don't have icing sugar. What should I do? So what I did for sugar is I took the crystal sugars that we have in the kitchen, and I just gave it a shake in the grind in the mixer. So there is the icing sugar, which I have got made at home. Okay, I am a lot into these days into making things at home. You will also need water in the end in a jug, drinking water. And for any of these experiments, I always prefer wearing gloves because we have to eat this. So either you wash your hands with soap nicely, or you put on your gloves. That's how you should start doing anything edible experiment that you're doing. No Dhyani, no slime today because most of the children don't have the slime activator at home. So we'll just go ahead with what we have, which is making the pixie dust, or in common terms also called as the sherbet, for which there's a bowl needed, spoon needed, sugar, Tang or jelly crystals, whatever you have, and citric acid. I hope everybody got that right. And if you don't have it, you can ask me if you need something. Okay, citric acid, icing sugar. You can replace jelly crystal with Tang, and a bit of baking soda is also needed. Okay, so here is my baking soda also. Okay, because I need to do so many experiments, I have emptied them into boxes. You can keep those, the regular boxes in which they come. So this is the material for experiment number 1. And I'm going to use a pair of gloves. You can wash your hands with soap, the 20-second rule. Wipe it with and always keep a napkin close to you. Like I always say, whenever you're doing chemistry experiments, you'll always need a napkin around. So that's for the experiment 1. Okay. In the end, to test this, you will need a glass of water. Okay. So a glass of water in the end. Just moving this away so that I can show you the material for the next experiment. All right. Please keep asking questions in the chat box. I will look at all the simplest of the questions that you have, or the difficult of the questions that you have. I'm gonna try to answer as much as I can. Okay, so I'm just putting away all this material that I've shown you for the pixie dust making or the sharbat making. So that's the sharbat. Now, second thing we're going to talk about is balloons. So in past couple of sessions, we've used balloons for various different experiments. We will be today again doing a simple experiment with balloon. And I'll be showing you how balloon can be used for different experiments. So for today's experiment, what you need is, I am taking a skewer. Okay? You can take a needle. But the thing is, what you have to do is, once you blow the balloon, it has to go through the balloon. So you can't take a very small needle. Okay? Hi, Nishita. Glad to see you again. We were just talking about all the material that is needed. For that, you can just scroll up. I have written all the materials already. And so far, we have just discussed only one experiment material, which is the pixie dust or the sharbat material. So the sharbat material you can just take up. Anita, if you don't have balloon, you can take a hand glove also. Or you can take a Ziploc bag also. So these can be done in a hand glove or a Ziploc bag also. So we were talking about how versatile this balloon is. So today, for today's experiment, all you need is balloon, skewer. For children who are not very confident, they can also take a tape and scissor, scotch tape and scissor. Yeah, so that is experiment 2 largely. I will be demonstrating couple of more experiment for on balloon, but you don't really need to do those. You will be doing only these 2 things you need: balloon and skewer and scotch tape you need. Okay. There is a little difficulty in using lemon in place of citric acid. See, because lemon already has water. What does water do? It makes the solution, and we are using everything in powder form, nothing in the solution form. Yeah, Nishita, this is the second experiment. Simply, a balloon and skewer. Hi, Swarna. Yes, glad to know that you are from Yarpitika school. Okay, so we said skewer, balloon. Now coming to the third experiment of the day. For the third experiment, you will need a protractor. Now, in the lockdown, I didn't have a protractor. So what did I do? I made this protractor at home. Okay, what did I do? I took a CD and I marked around a piece of paper, right? I marked a circle around there's a CD here. Yeah, so we just make a circle. There's a CD. Yeah, this is also okay. There's a CD here. Yeah, so what you do is you take any stencil and you have to make a circle out of it, hemisphere like this. And then what we do is, I'll tell you how to make this, okay? So you, for the third experiment, you will need a protractor, which we are going to make. You will need a scale. If you don't have a scale, you can make a scale. I didn't have a long scale that I needed, so I made a scale. So online, I looked at the dimensions, and then what I did is I took a maths ruler notebook, and from that, I just made my own ruler on the maths notebook. So what all we need for the sundial? We need a protractor, we need a scale, you will need a pencil, few sketch pens, maybe an eraser, but largely what you need is a hard paper and a plain paper. Largely what you would have seen so far is that while making sundial, people make sundials out of, and you would just dig in a pencil inside it like this, and you would say, okay, the sundial is made. something like this, right? We are going a bit beyond that today, and we are going to make a proper sundial today. Okay. So now starting with the first one, the first experiment, take a bowl and a spoon. If you wash your hands, very good. If you haven't, please go and wash your hands. I'm going to use gloves because whenever doing an edible experiment which you have to eat, you need to use sanitized gloves which hasn't been kept out just like that. And this needs to be also not the medical glove. This needs to be the gloves which can be comfortably used for food. Okay. So once that is there, then what do we do is we need icing sugar. Okay. We need citric acid. Before we get on to there, I'll need a tray. Yeah, I just have a tray. I'll just use it here. So what do we need is a jug of water. Okay. And I'll just tell you what do these things do? All the white looking powders that we have taken, what do they do? So, and when they mix with each other, what do they do? This will not work. Everything will spill out from this. So I'm just going to put a sheet of plastic on this. All right. So I have a tray here. What we're going to do is I'm going to take a glass. I'm going to pour a bit of water and see what our different ingredients are. So first I take this and then I just take a spoon. I take a spoon and I just drop half a spoon of citric acid in it. And then I just stir it nicely. Okay. Do you see anything there? I don't see anything there. One thing which I definitely see is when I touch it, it's becoming cold. In fact, this one we are not going to drink. We're just going to discard. So you can just put your finger inside this also and check. Because everything is edible and of food grade, nothing will happen. So you can just take your hands out of your gloves and test that. You'll see it's turning cold. This is an endothermic reaction, which means it takes the heat from the atmosphere to make this solution. Okay, nothing has happened so far. Now what we do is keep it aside. Take another glass. Okay, take our baking soda. Now the next box. Okay, so we take baking soda, again half a spoon. And what do? We pour some water in the baking soda. Okay, now what do? We take another stirrer and just mix it up. Anything happening? No, nothing happening. Also, you will see that the citric acid has been able to dissolve properly and make a good solution. But no matter how much you try, the baking soda sits down at the bottom. And at one point of time, when the stirring stops, the colloidal solution sits down and the transparent is on the top. So now what we're going to do is we're going to see how if we mix these two solutions, what happens. Okay. So this is the acid and this is the base. We are going to mix it up. You see, when acid and base mixes, there's a lot of gas which is formed and that tries to escape. And when it tries to escape, because of the gas pressure, lot of gas comes out. So this is basically carbon dioxide coming out because it is citric acid, this is baking soda. So the carbon dioxide in the baking soda gets released because of the acid-base interaction, salt being made and carbon dioxide being released. Okay. So because of that phase and the gas coming out, it pops up. Now, important thing to understand that these material when you take from home, it's all, I'll leave the glasses. It's all edible. You need to throw because there's So it's all edible, and it will. So there's nothing to worry, but in very small proportions. You can't do over and above. So what we've figured out is that we have two powders here, which are both white. This is a little crystal, and this is a little amorphous. This is baking powder, and this is this is citric acid. And when you mix acid and base together, carbon dioxide got made, and a salt was formed. Now what we are going to do is, in very measured proportion, we are going to make a candy out of it. Now for that building of the candy, what we need some sugar, and we need some tang. Now because you've seen the experiment, you know what reaction it will do. Okay, so you need to be very so that's why I'm using small glasses today, because at one go, otherwise also, you should not drink more than a certain amount of sugar. So what happens in the fizzy drinks like Coca-Cola? What is it? Sorry, the any kind of carbonated drinks that you get, not so like the black drinks cold drinks rather, that you get into the market. What happens with them is they have carbon dioxide infused in them, and when you release the bottle, the carbon dioxide tries to come out with strong force, and it also has sugar in it to make it palatable for the people to drink. So we are just trying to understand what happens in any kind of drink. So what we are doing is, first thing, instead of this, you can also take jelly crystals. That gives a better pop, taste wise. I'm personally not fond of it. Some others are not fond of tang either. So you can see what you can do. So what we are doing is, we take 1 spoon of tang I'm taking. Okay, so this you don't need in big quantities. So don't make a big batch of 2 spoons of this and 1 spoon of this. It will not work. So just 1 spoon of this. You take 1/4 of the baking soda. This much. Okay. And you take 1/4 of the citric acid. Not more than that. Okay. And you take nice 1 spoon of the sugar. Okay. And then you give it a good mix. Okay, as simple as that. So you have to stir it well so that it gets mixed up nicely. Yeah. And now, right now, somebody was asking me, can I add lemon juice to instead of citric acid? Now the problem there is, see, now because it is not in a solution, no reaction is happening, like how we had seen a minute earlier. The moment you put lemon juice to it, the material that you're putting, but you're also turning into a juice. So the reaction will immediately happen. So the fun will be lost. So I would not recommend that. So it has to be all in either crystalline or amorphous form, all powdered form. No liquids right now. Okay, this is ready. Now what you have to do is, you have to just taste just a little to understand if you would want more sugar to it. It's really nice, yummy, and it's giving you a pop in the mouth. Just take like a pinch of it, like how a fairy, dusts a little pixie on your mouth. So just stick out your tongue like that. Take just like 1/10 of a spoon. Stick your tongue and just drop this powder on it. You'll see the reaction starts happening in your mouth itself. And it's the carbon dioxide starts coming out because the water in the saliva starts doing that reaction. And you get a little sweet flavor because of the sugar. Then you get a little citric flavor because of the citric acid. And when pixie dust or the sharbat. I keep forgetting the Western name. In the West, in Europe, it's called as sharbat. In India, here we call it as the pixie dust. So Somnath is asking where can I find citric acid? So citric acid can be found at any grocery shop where you can find sugar is where you can find citric acid. You just need to ask. Okay. Now, one good test of this is take one good full spoon. Now, this glass is basically 80 ml glass. Okay. I will not recommend you to drink a lot of cold drink, but this small glass is a good glass. So you take that and take a good full spoon of the powder, add a little water. See, it's already boiling and popping in there with the little, and then you see what happens. You will see there's a fizzy drink that you get. You see, yeah, it's almost like the carbon. So if you put too much of water, it will start overflowing. Like how you open the soda can and when you don't put it properly, it starts flowing like that. So what you have to do is pour your water gently and then you can start tasting it. Yummy. See, there it is. An edible experiment for you to try at home. You see all the fizz out there? Okay, I'm going to just do this again a little closer to the camera so that you can see what I could see here if you've not been able to put this together. So what I do is spoonful of the concoction that we've made, the mixture that we've made. Okay, do not pour at one go everything like how I had done the last time, otherwise it will spill out. Like how when you open a cold drink can, it fizzes out too much. So what you have to do is just fill it half because you don't want this to start boiling out. You see it, but still it's boiling out. Ooh, it's again going to spill. You see that? Yeah. So you have to pour little of it. Yeah, now it's ready to have it. So I'm going to just bring it closer to you so you can see all the boiling and the popping. And it's a candy which you can eat. It's a candy which you can drink. Okay. So cheers to science. Yummy orange drink. So that was experiment 1. Now we will be moving quickly to the second experiment about balloons. Okay. Discard your gloves properly in the dustbin. Okay. Important thing about doing chemistry experiment is you should always lid up everything before you move on to the next because you don't want explosions happening on your table, isn't it? So I'm just keeping my baking soda and citric acid away and keeping the sugar separately. Hope you all enjoyed making that, and trust me, it's really yum also. So not that you should have too much of it, but sometimes once in a blue moon, it's a really great experiment, edible experiment to try. Okay. Yeah, going on to balloons. Yes, moving on to balloons. Just 1 minute. Balloons. Yeah, a minute. So while doing chemistry experiments, it's always important that you have to keep your stations clear because you don't want the next experiment to get ruined because of the first one. I'm ready. All right. Okay, so we were talking about balloons. Now, while doing this experiment, what can happen is things can pop. Things can, the balloon can also pop. Somebody was saying, I don't have a balloon. What should I do? So yes, we'll come to you. What we can do, we can come to you. We'll use a glove if you don't have a balloon. But let's start with a balloon. So blow a balloon. Excuse me. So what we're doing in this balloon is we're tying it up. And yeah, what you have to do is if I pop this here, what will happen? Will it burst? What do you think? If I pop this up right here, what will happen? Ready to see? Ooh, did it burst? Can you try something that it does not burst? Can we do something that this does not burst? Yes, we can definitely do something, but we will have to do some surgery on the balloon, right? So let's just try without the surgery first and then with the surgery. All right, let's try again. Okay. So that's the balloon. Tied it up. Okay. Now I'm going to gently, there's a point here where you see that the balloon has not completely, is not completely inflated, right? So at this point, if you try to insert your long needle or a skewer, it should ideally not burst out. And so this is still not a safe way. A better way is be ready for popping. You see my skewer is already in there, but just be gentle, huh? Because the material, so basically there's a lot of surface tension experiment. See, my skewer is already in. Now I have to take it in all the way and bring it out from here. So gently you try that. And my skewer is thick. If you try with a thinner needle, it will work better. So my skewer is, yes. If you see closely, you'll be able to see the skewer inside. No, not in this camera. You're not able to see. So I'm just going to just go a little slow. You also go a little slow and try to take the skewer inside the balloon. Okay, so I'm just moving it a little by little because I don't want it to burst. There is another way also, safe and sound. If you put some scotch tape at the front and the back, like some surgery, then you will be able to take this in. Yeah, see, the skewer is inside. If you would be closer to me, you would see that it is dangling inside of. Yeah. Yes, you can put some tape also, Anya. Hi, Renu. Welcome back to the Pampers science session. And see, my skewer is out from the other side. Now, why is this happening? That I did not burst the balloon also, and it went inside, and no air came out also. See, the balloon, the skewer is out from both the sides. See? And no air also coming out. And this is also out. See? Now, another way to do this is, see, what did I do right from both the sides? And see, it was a needle, like a pointy needle. It's a pointy needle. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do the same thing now with a simpler way. I'm going to blow another balloon, tape it up, and do the same experiment. Okay? Now, this is going to be a difficult one because it's a longer balloon. Okay. So now this one with the, yeah, it's a nail and it's like magic, but it's quite fun. But you need to understand the science behind it. Basically, rubber, the balloon is made out of such an elastic material that when it stretches and makes some space for the skewer to get in, it just makes place around it. And when the skewer is trying to get inside, it makes itself believe that the skewer is also part of the balloon only. So it's actually a surface tension experiment. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make this experiment easy peasy for anybody. Okay. So what you do is you take a scotch tape and you can pack your balloon from both the sides where you will be dissecting it. So if you have to dissect from here, pack it from here. What we are trying to do is we're just trying to make it a little thick on one side, right? And we're just trying to make it, so we take another scotch tape, a nice square we make at both the ends, okay? So we did that, and then on the other side, just make a taper square like this. Okay. Now, balloon is such a versatile thing that you can do so many experiments in it. Okay. So let's just check with the other side also of the balloon. We need to do the same. So you need two pieces. One piece here I'm keeping, another piece I'm taking again. Now this is the second piece. Okay, we have to go back to the, yeah. Okay, so here is the second piece where I want to put the, so I made a nice surgery here and I have taped up the balloon from both the sides. Now your balloon is safe to be poked from both the sides and you don't have to be worrying. Now you gently put your needle here. Now this time you will see you will not face any problem. This is already in, right? And then you go that side and from the place where both the both the tapes are there, just make a gentle nick and you will be out. Yeah. There. You see? Yeah. So that's a wonderful experiment to try at home. I am going to now try the last experiment for the day, which is making of the sundial. Now, what do you need for the sundial? You will need basically two sheets of card paper. Card paper means any hard paper. Okay, so two sheets I'm going to tape together because, or you can glue them also together. A4 sheets if you, largely we are going to work with A4 sheets only. So before we get on with that, we need to make a protractor. Now, how do you make a protractor? So take a CD. I'm going to just move this way. Okay. Yes. Okay, so just take a protractor. I hope you can see what's happening on my, yes. Take a protractor, take a pencil, and just mark it on the paper. Okay. Now what you need to do is we need to cut it out. Okay. So we cut it out. So substitute of the balloon with the Ziploc. Some children are asking. So we'll come to that after the sundial making, because sundial making is going to take a bit of a time and I want to spend good 15 minutes on it. So if you want to do the balloon experiment with the Ziploc, that will be the last thing. So you cut a circle. What are we doing? If you don't have a protractor, we are making a protractor. So for this, you need a scale like this or like any other. I have made a scale by using the maths notebook that we have. And I have then just measured it up and marked it. So in the maths notebook, I saw that the each square that I had was out of 2 centimeters. So I kept marking it and therefore I had a scale in front of me. Likewise, I'm going to use a card sheet and make a protractor. How do we do that? We've taken this, those who have done the clinometer experiment, there we had made the protractor. So just take your circle, find the center by folding it into half and then again into a quarter, and where you reach is the center of the circle. So you make a nice dot there and that becomes the origin. Okay, so we don't need the full of it. So we are going to put some glue on this because we need our protractor to be hard and strong. So we just take the glue on the hemisphere one side and you just stick it. Okay, so that becomes your protractor. Like this we are making. Now what do you do is you find the quarter again. Okay, and you take your scale and you mark your quarter. Okay, so I'm going to just mark this. Now, children who are in class 5th above and class 6, they would know what is a line and an angle. We are going to come to it. When you, from this dot to this dot, when I joined all this dot to this dot, I got a line. Okay, and where this dot is meeting the next line is an angle. Now you can measure the angle in various degrees, largely 360 degrees. So there is a line here and there is a line here where the intersect is an angle. So this angle is symbolized as 90 degree. So we are going to make 15 degrees each. How? Just by doing fractions of this hemisphere. So what do we do? So if you divide 90 into half, what do you get? 45. So now what we're going to do is the quarter we have to further turn into a quarter. Okay, and mark that up and measure it and write it as 90. So that's my quarter. Now from quarter ka half is 45. So I'm just going to write there. So always what you have to understand is 0 you're starting. So from here you have to say 10, 20, 30, 40, 60, 70, 90, and here it is 180. So you have to always write. So I'm just going to say here is the 0 degree, here is the 180 degree, and here is the 90 degree. Now we are going to make 15 minutes. How? Just by doing equal fractions. So from this quarter, I just made another half. So this is the quarter. I go down and I make another half. Okay, and then I mark it. Okay, then what do now? This I have got already half. Now half of these two, because we want divisions of 15 degree each. Okay, so I've got that and I'm going to mark that. So keep doing that till you get all your divisions of 15 degree each. So I did that and now I'm moving to the next one. Equal of this part. The younger children don't need to get into it. They can just take a protractor and get ready for it. If there are older children who are class 4, 5, 6 above, they can make this protractor with me. If there are younger children who are younger than the age of 8 or 7, they can just use a protractor for this. Okay, so then I do another half of each of the sections, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get a 15 degree angle of each. So like I said, hemisphere is 180 degree, and then half of the 180 degree is the 90 degree, which is the quarter. Now from the quarter, we just keep moving. Now there is your protractor ready. Okay, done. Okay, now what you have to do is, if you've said your 0 degree is here, then you start saying 15, 15, 15, and you have to go on forward. So we say 0, then we say 15, then we say 30, then we say 45, right? Yeah. And you keep going with every 15 degree. Okay, because we will be needing this. Now, important thing to understand is what is the latitude of your place. So just Google up what is the angle of latitude of your place. Okay, because that's the, now I'm in Bombay. So the angle of latitude that I have here is 19.07 degree. So that is what I'm going to need next. So from here it is so 97 of a thing you should. Now getting on to making our sundial. Okay, so take one page. Ideally you'll need 2 pages, yeah, because our sundial is going to be a little bigger. So I have 2 A4 sheets. I'm going to just stick them together so that I get a bigger page with me. Okay, here it is, done. That's a bigger page with me. So what is the first thing that I need to do? Yeah. So what is the first thing that I need to do is I need to mark a line here from which again this 15, 15, 15 that you've done, we have to make. So just take a scale. It's going to move away extra sheets of paper. Yeah. Okay. So you keep your protractor close to you. Keep your scale. Keep your scale close to you. Oh, there's the scale with me only. Funny. So just take the scale on top of your paper, leave a little and just mark it. Like a straight line, just make that, okay? Once you've done that, then we come to the next part, which is about marking the 15, 15 degrees right from here. So how do you do that? First, find the center of this page. So here is the center of this page. Just find the center properly and just make a line at the center. So once we have the center, just use my ruler to make that line. Okay, there's the ruler, there's the center. Now what I have to do is I will take my protractor and I need to make 15-degree angle at each. So what do is I just put my protractor here and just start marking 15 degrees everywhere, right? So this is 15, 15, 15, 15. थोड़ा सा गड़बड़ हो गया. Wait. So there's the 0, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, and then again 15, 15. Every 15 you have to mark because then we'll have to make the lines. Okay. Now you can remove the protractor and then from the center where you've made this dot, okay, you have to make the lines till the end of the paper. I'll just show you how. So let me just draw mine. So that's one line. That's another line. That's the third line. So basically you have to bring the whole protractor here. There's a very simple sundial also which children make from a paper plate, which you might have made when you were in grade 3. But we thought today we'll make for children who were a little older and who would, be able to make an exact sundial, how they model it in most of the places, no? So we thought we'll just build something like that. Yeah. So I have all my sections done. This is just the first part, and the second part, the moment you get it, you are done with the, so you will need some 5-7 minutes more to finish this. So don't worry there. Just get your 15 thing properly so that you don't miss out on the markings. Okay, so just be sure that your markings are, proper. The 15-degree angle that you're taking, and if you have a protractor, very well. If you don't have a protractor, we've already spoken about that and made the protractor. And now we are moving on to the next step of finishing up our sundial. Brilliant. Done. So that's what you get. This is what you have to aim at. So, okay. Once you've got all your 15-degree angles sorted, then next is we are going to make a right angle triangle. Now what's a right angle triangle? Something like this. Okay, so we have to now build something like this here. Now how do we do that? You take a sheet of paper. Okay, now what you have to put here is, this is very flimsy, it needs to be very hard. So just see that you get a hard paper. You can't take a flimsy paper. Okay, so I'm just going to pull out a hard paper. So that's a good hard paper. Okay, so what you have to do is, we have to take this as the 90 degree, and this angle, so just look at this. So this is the 90 degree here, okay, which we will take as this, and this angle is the angle of your latitude. Like Bombay is 19 degree, Pune is Bombay is 19.07, Pune is 18. So for if you have logged in from some other city, you will have to look at what is your angle of latitude. So this is the angle of latitude for the local latitude. So you have to just type, go to Google and type angle of local latitude, and you'll get that degree. So I have taken 19 degrees to this. So this is my 90 degree. Okay, this is the 90 degree. Here I need a 18 for Pune and 19.07 for Bombay. So I'm just going to do that. How do I do that? I just take my protractor, put it here, and I mark it at a little lesser than the 15 ka blocks hai. So 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, so this is my block. So that's the 18 by using the protractor. I take my scale and I just add the end and the dot together. What will be the third angle therefore? What is the sum of three angles? The sum of sum of three angles, interior angles in a triangle is 180 degree. So what we've already done here is, we've got the 90 degree and we've got the 19 degree. What will be the other one? 19.07, right? So the other one will be how much? 70.93, right? So this is what you have to now place here. So now while placing, you have to understand that the hypotenuse goes here. The hypotenuse goes here. So the 90 degree wala part comes up and the shorter side just goes here. Okay, and that you have to stick it. So to make it hard, you just take the two pieces and then you stick it. Okay, so once you have made it hard, and if you already have a hard paper, then you just stick it like this. Okay, so how did I stick it? I just took Fevicol and stuck it there. So the the hypotenuse comes here, the shorter side is here, the longer side is here. This is the angle of the latitude, and this now what you have to do, now it is done. Your sundial is ready to be checked. So now we are going to just take a torch and we are going to just take a torch and try this out. So if you have I have used pencil, so it's not looking dark, so you can just darken it later. So I'm just using a torch to show you how to make it. So now this has to be aligned towards the north south. Okay, can you show me how to make the easy way of making a sundial? Yes, I can show you that also. We'll come back to it. So what we take is, can you see the shadow? So that is how, what you have to do is, now so you have to go out and in the sun for one full day, you have to do this exercise. So like this is the morning and this is the evening, and you mark. So like when it is 7 o'clock and it is a north-south direction that you've kept. So this becomes your 7. Then you go at 8 and you see that where is the shadow coming on the line. So then this becomes the 8 and 9. So largely what will happen at 12 o'clock, this should be straight line. Like you see a straight line here, this is what your 12 noon should look like. Okay, so just moving it here so that you can also see on the other. Yeah, so it should be a straight line. This is 12. So 7, 8, then you check 9, 10, 11, and you keep marking till 5. Okay, so that was a perfect sundial which you can make at home and which you can try. So somebody was saying, how can you make an easy sundial? See, we need to look at, so these are the kind of lines that you will get by the shadows, and this is something which works beautifully. What you will find a lot on the internet is people take any paper plate, they stick in a pencil, and what you do is, torch again we take, and what you do is you have to mark wherever the shadow is following. At 12 o'clock you have to step out, and then you have to so if it is 12 in the afternoon, and if you step out, and then you get a 12 here, so you put a 12 here, okay, and you mark it here. Then you step out at a 1 and you mark it here. So like that, clockwise, you will get a 3 here. Can you see the shadow? I hope you can see the shadow of the, yeah. So there is a 3 here. Okay. So then children also get into decoration of the sundial, and they put a complete clock on it. So then this becomes the 6, and then this becomes the 9. So 1, 2, 3. Largely you can't see beyond 5 o'clock. So there is no point of actually making a sundial beyond 6 or maximum 7. So like that, you can make a sundial where you start from in the morning time, you can still show a little this side. But let's say if you start from a 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and beyond 12, you can put from 7. So 7 to 5, you can put on a clock. So that is it about the sundial. I will just finish this up so that we know what are we looking at. 9, 8. Okay, let's just do this again. So Nishita wanted the simple way. So we are just constructing a simple way. What we are doing is find the center of any plate. Okay. Once you found the center of the plate, then you just stick in a pencil to it. Once you've done that, go out in the sun at 12 o'clock, look at your watch, and let this stay there where the shadow falls. Wherever the shadow falls at 12 o'clock, it will be right on the head, right? 12 o'clock will always be right on the head. So at 12 o'clock, just mark it 12. Okay. So from there, you have to start moving left and right. So basically, come out at every 1 hour and keep marking this. This is the simple way of doing it. So you get a 3 here, and you get a 6 here. So, and you get a morning 9 o'clock here. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. As simple as that. So if you want to make beyond 9 also. So Nishita, this is just for you. Simple ones. Okay. This is how you make a simple sundial. But if you are a bit into precision, this is the precise sundial. So thank you everybody for joining us and making a sundial with us. The important thing about sundial is you need to have your protractor right, you need to know your latitude right, and you need to have your measurements correctly. So that was Sanskriti Singh for you from Blue Sparrow Science, and that was Procter & Gamble, Pampers, P&G, iSmile, Toying, bringing you some wonderful science sessions, and These sessions are going to be there only till a little while more. So maybe you'll see me a couple of times more in this month. And we hope we all go back to our schools soon, to our normal life soon. All of you out there, stay home, stay safe, and keep washing your hands, keep wearing your mask and your gloves. And signing off now. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye-bye.